Okay, your daily routine. So, to round off the module of mindset, or the mindset module, I thought nothing better than to put some kind of daily routine, some kind of structure in place. And speaking from experience, having a routine has helped massively. I can't even comprehend or put into words how much of an effect having some structure and routine to my day has had on my performance, my productivity, my focus, everything. It's seriously huge. It's mind-boggling how much of an effect this can have. Now, I will just put it out there that not everyone will respond to having structure and routine. I know there are people out there who respond to craziness and spontaneous and just like pick up from where they left off 3 weeks ago, and it's as if they never let it down, right? I know those people are out there, and I know they can perform better by doing that. But for me, what I found was if I didn't have routine, if I didn't have set times of what I was doing and when I was doing it, I would wander in my mind, okay? I would become distracted. I would look for distractions. I would go on YouTube and watch an hour-long freaking vlog of some traveler, right? Just backpacking around the world. No idea why, right? I would listen to some Joe Rogan podcasts. Sometimes they can be beneficial, but, whilst you're in work mode, that's not what you should be doing, okay? It's about prioritizing your time and maximizing the performance in that time. What's the point in working a 10-hour day if you can do everything that you need to do in 3 hours, right? Then you've got 7 hours spare, and that 7 hours could be, amplifying, tomorrow's tasks or furthering some other tasks so you can get more out of the business, or spending more time with your kids and your loved ones, or getting outside in nature, or going to the gym, or maximizing and working on, that triangle of productivity. So for me, routine has helped massively. It really, really has. And I notice a huge difference between me not having a routine to having a routine. I really do. A few years ago, I would, like I said, look to get distracted, whether that be through watching videos or whether that be through chasing a new shiny object or a new venture or a new idea. And as you can see, I've laid out what a typical day looks for me, okay, and what my routine looks like on this document, and I'm going to share it with you in the resources below. But this is what my day looks like. And if you take notice, there really isn't that much work being done. It's probably, and we'll count in a minute, but it's around 5 hours per day of work that I do. But the work that I do is super high focus. It's probably called deep work, I think is the name for it. And at the end of it, I can tell I've worked, right? I can tell that my brain is not fatigued, but it's definitely tired, okay? Because I've been super focused. I've got my tasks done. My most important tasks of the day are done. I feel achievement, accomplished. And I also have huge amounts of time to play with the kids, to do my workouts, to do everything else that I want to do. Okay, so I really, really recommend and advise that you try and structure some kind of routine that suits you. Okay, again, all at different stages of our life. Some have kids, some don't. Some are older, some aren't, right? Some have pets, some don't. So all of this is going to depend on how your day looks. So let's jump in, right? So again, I found having a daily routine to be extremely effective, which is why I want to share it with you guys when it comes to productivity and focus. And so easy to become distracted, to prioritize potentially the wrong things, okay? And that's where a structured routine comes in handy. So quickly touching on that, is what I do I've written this down in what I'm doing. So again, I'll touch on it in a second as well. But I'm writing my tasks, okay, my daily tasks. What are the most important in order of importance? So every day, what I need to do today, okay, and the top 3 things that are the most important that I focus on. The other things can either wait. If I manage to box the 3 things off pretty quick, I can get to those other tasks, or they can be pushed to tomorrow, or even better, they can be pushed to the team. Okay. So here's how my routine looks. a typical day in the life. So at 5:30, my alarm goes off and get up and try and drink a litre of water. That's the first thing I do is get up, go. I'm in an upside down house. So my bedrooms are downstairs, the living, dining room, lounge, etc., kitchen are upstairs. So I come upstairs, take a litre of water and try and neck that over 10-15 minutes. So I'm hydrated, okay? Again, I'm no health expert. I'm no nutritionalist. I'm definitely not a, what's the word? I'm going to butcher this and I'm not going to be able to think of what the word is, but I'm not I can't think of what the word is, but I'm definitely not like in a position to be looked at as any kind of, oh yeah, he's healthy, right? Like I'm still overweight. I'm definitely on the right path to becoming healthier and healthier and losing weight, etc., etc. But I'm not where I want to be just yet. Going back to the goals, right? I got to set the goals. But I know that what I'm putting in my body at the moment is helping me be productive. Okay, so drinking water, getting hydrated after 7-8 hours asleep, super important. Okay, then after I've woken up around 6 a.m, I work out. So we have a home gym here. We're in the process of building a new building in the grounds, which we're going to put a gym in as well. Also going to have a sauna and an ice bath. So I'm super excited about that because I want to start bringing that into my routine as well. So that's a few months out yet. But I get in the gym, I work out, and that's either weightlifting, circuits, so like kettlebell circuits, or cardio, okay? 45 minutes later, I'm showering, and then I'm upstairs again with the family. And kids are up, having breakfast, chilling with them, making sure everything's ready for school, etc., etc. And then I start working at around 7:30, and I write my goals and plan my day. And that takes 10 minutes. So I'm writing my goals that I've set, my goals that I'm trying to hit, that we've talked about in previous videos. And then I'm planning my daily tasks in order of importance, which I just touched on just a moment ago. Okay, and I'm obviously prioritizing the most important tasks. I want 3 tasks that I want to hit and accomplish. Okay. The rest can either be pushed back or delegated to the team. Okay. Then after I've written my goals and my tasks, plan the day of what I want to do, I look through campaigns and stats from the previous day to make sure we're looking good, make sure campaigns are running smooth, make sure ad accounts are all good, everything's running. If there's any attention that needs to be brought to a specific campaign, that I flag it, okay, and I can bring it to my operations manager, which I'll get into in a second. About 8:40 a.m, walk the kids around to school. It's like a 2-3 minute walk. So take those guys to school, come back, and then I check in with my OM, which is the operations manager. So we either have a quick call or we just go back and forth on Slack, talking about what was, what we need to achieve, what tasks can be taken by the team, etc., etc. And again, we go into team in a later video and how we, what the team looks like. Very small team, pretty skeleton crew, but that's all that's needed. Okay, we don't need like an office full of employees. You literally can scale 7 and 8 figures solo, but it's a lot easier when you have 3 or 4 good people with you as well. Okay, all right. So check in with the OM and then walk the dog after I've checked in. And obviously, I think I've told you before, but I have half dog, half horse. So he takes, a few miles. So it's usually like, between 3 and 5 mile walk. Get back at around, an hour and 10 later, and then start working. So I then go into work mode where I focus on my most important task. Okay. And this is deep work. So I'm focused. There is no distraction. I am not taking calls. I am not on Facebook. I am not looking on Slack, getting notifications. Like I pause all notifications. I literally just want to deep focus work on whatever that is. And that could be, a bunch of different things, those type of tasks. Whatever's the most important, again, in helping to achieve those goals that I've set, right? So that could be working on launching a new campaign, writing copy for some new video scripts. It could be delivering content for ad profits. It could be working on a JV venture for a new product. It could be working on a supplement offer that we're bringing out. I don't know what that is, but it's whatever the most important task that I think for that day. That's what I'm doing there. Okay. First task or first big task of the day. Then after that, again, depending on how long that took me, usually if I'm going at it, I'm going for about an hour and a half or 90 minutes. Then I'll take lunch and break. And this is also me breaking my fast. So fast from 8 p.m. through to 12 p.m. So then, that's my first meal of the day. And then 12:30, back to work. So again, second most important task. Also, whilst I'm breaking for lunch, I'm trying to move as much as possible. I'm not standing still. I'm not sitting still. I'm trying to get some steps in, trying to get out in fresh air, get into the garden a little bit if it's decent weather, if it's not pissing it down, which in the UK is rare. But just trying to get fresh air and get some sunlight on my skin and, trying to wake up a little bit and make sure I'm re-energized and revitalized, okay? Then back to it, right? So again, hitting that second most important task. Again, usually around an hour. Then take another quick break. Again, that could be going into the kitchen, getting a glass of water, maybe having a little bit of fruit or a snack. Again, getting some fresh air, play with the dog, talk to the missus, whatever that looks like, okay? I've got a 5-month-old baby, so again, a lot of my breaks are playing with the baby as well. So that's what I'll be doing there. Then back to it. Third most important task, okay? So around 1:45. Again, this is all, sometimes things will run over, sometimes they'll run short. So nothing is like set in stone that this is what I do. I have to wait now until I can start my most important task. If I'm still feeling fresh and good and still got energy to focus, then maybe I move on to the second most important task right away, okay? I'm just giving you an idea of the routine and the structure, okay? This is quite often how it plays out. Okay, so third most important task out of the way, usually come to around 3 p.m. Go around to catch up with the operations manager again. Any tasks that we set throughout that day, did they get completed? Any outstanding? Where are we? What's the quality like? How's things looking campaign-wise, etc., etc. Basically, just an overview of where we're at and what we're doing. And then 3:20 p.m., collect the kids from school. Again, it's just a few minutes around the corner. Time with the family, kids' bedtime, chill with the missus, watch a movie, watch, something on Netflix or Prime or whatever we're doing, or just chat. And then just before bed, I'll just have a quick check of campaigns to make sure everything's looking good. And then bedtime for 10, again, to repeat the cycle, the routine. So to just touch upon, this does not need to be your routine, okay? If you are starting out, if you are young, if you are, you don't have kids, this could look completely different. You might want to be prioritizing work, right? I know if I was doing this when I was 20 years old, I would be seriously prioritizing work, right? If I didn't have kids, if I didn't have the missus, if I didn't have responsibility, I would be grafting, really, really putting as much work in as I could to, maximize the time. Obviously now, at the ripe old age of 36, things are a little bit different. I've got 3 children. I've got a missus. So, I've got things that I want to prioritize over work. So this fits amazingly well. I also find that those hours that I am working with the deep, important tasks, super productive in that time frame. I don't think if right now, if I was to work a little bit longer or trying to cram in another hour, another 2 hours, I think I'd tell a difference in how productive I was. I'm really very focused and productive in those hours that I'm working. And so then I'm sort of, again, I'm not fatigued, I'm not depleted, but I'm definitely tired. I can definitely tell I've worked, I've focused, right? So I think I wouldn't be as productive. My performance drops, okay? As it would. It's the same if you were to run around for 5 hours. You ain't going to be running around as fast as you were for the first hour, right? So it's the same thing. Like if you're working, those first few hours are going to be the most productive. And then you're going to tire, okay? So that's just how I like to work it. You can see that I get so much done in the morning that I feel amazing. The water, the working out, getting out in the fresh air, chilling with the family, walking the kids to school, fresh air. Again, all of those things being done in the first few hours of the day, I feel incredible throughout the day. I really do. I feel like I've already accomplished a huge amount by the time I even hit the first task. I feel like I've accomplished loads, right? And I've got in fresh air. I've thought of everything I need to think of. I've really woken my brain up. I'm ready to go. So I really do advise and recommend that you plan, or at least even if you think you work better off the cuff without structure, I suggest you try it. You don't have to stick to it. Just try it. Try planning a routine. It doesn't need to look anything like this, but just try it. And I would definitely, if you are going to be focusing on exercise and all that good stuff, your triangle of productivity, I would definitely prioritize doing it in the morning before you start working. If you don't do that already, I can guarantee you feel miles more productive by working out, by getting outside, by getting steps in before you even touch the computer. Guarantee it. I really do. And I know those who have already do that or do that currently, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you will agree. It's whatever it is, the endorphins, whatever is pumping around your body, just makes you feel incredible and super focused. All right, let's wrap it up there. But yeah, again, I really suggest you try this. Again, if it doesn't work out for you, then no harm, no loss, right? At least you tried it. But I definitely would. All right, cheers, guys.